control of your life? Who decides where you work, eat, sleep and go on holiday? Do you ever wonder who's in control of the earth, of all the rocks, of all the stones, of all the weatherfront over Alaskan zones, the microchip in the telephone, Earth, the moon, the sun, the stars, the lives of a million insects? Is there anyone in control? Oh sure, we all grab our own slice of freedom. We say, yeah, yeah, I'm a-doing my will, and I could walk to China tomorrow if I knew the way. But who wants to go to China anyway? Is there anyone in control of all the knobs and dials, computer tapes on the human files, Earth, the moon, the sun, the stars, the lives of a million insects? Is there anyone in control? I'm in control. You're in control. We're in control. They're in control. I'm in control. You're in control. We're in control. They're in control. Lose control. Give it away. Surrender your thoughts about yesterday and today, 'cause there is nothing, there is no one in control of all the knobs and dials, the computer tapes, human files, conversation floating on a telephone, microchip in your telephone. Do you ever wonder who's in control of your life? Who decides where you work, eat, sleep and go on holiday? Hello, good evening and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my lords, ladies and gentlemen, your majesty and inhabitants of the Delta Quadrant. Welcome to another end of the world. Who'd have thought? And as the song says, tonight I will be pondering the question, who's in control? Did anybody else spot the pun there? Who is in control? I think we all know who is in control. It's the fucking who is in control. Because of international treaties signed by your government, the current diktats that we are all living under are a direct result of treaties that go back to 1948. Now, last week, if you were watching, I pondered the question, who is the World Health Organization? You know, I can name some Formula One drivers. I might even be able to name a tennis player or two. But who is in the who? Who is in control of us? So I had a look, and it turns out that actually the structure of the who is basically a kind of shop front. So all the people who you find when you go to Wikipedia, as I'm sure you're going to do, who look like they're in control of the who are not. They're just doctors who've been hired to present some plausible front to the World Health Organization. But actually, if you read the treaties are written up by lawyers and negotiated not by doctors who are appointed to carry out the business of the World Health Organization and have their faces plastered over the websites as if they're the kind of people you would trust. Here's Dr. Henry Rodriguez. He spent 30 years looking after orphan children in Romania. He's director of blah blah at the World Health Organization. Nobody thinks he's a malevolent, evil fucktard intent on global dominion, do we? No, it's the treaties. The treaties, over 20 of them, that your country, unless you're watching in North Korea, which seems unlikely, your country has signed up to over 20 of these treaties with the World Health Organization, and they are now in effect whose laws you are living under. And one of those things that's happening, that's part of the treaty, is the advice of the World Health Organization to wear masks. Now, in America, it's become more fashionable since Donald Trump was spotted wearing a mask. And in Britain, it's become compulsory since our government said it was compulsory. Although I'd like to tell you a story about that. Once upon a time, there was a government, and they said it's compulsory for everybody to wear masks. Actually, they said face coverings. It's now mandatory. I must get the language correct here. It's mandatory for people to wear a face covering. So let's just run through what that means. First of all, there's no law that says you have to wear a mask, and a face covering rather. And a face covering is not a mask. And so, what are the alleged medical benefits of covering your face, should you choose to or not? Well, I decided there was no medical benefit to covering my face, and I have never worn a mask in any shop or in public since they made it mandatory. And I didn't have a problem with this until I went into a pawn shop in Kirkcaldy, which is a small coastal town in Fife, for those of you unfamiliar with Scotland's geography. Actually, it's one of the poorest towns in Scotland, possibly in Britain. And I like the pawn shop there, cash generator. They have a nice selection of cheap second-hand guitars. So I went in without my face covering, as I've been in many, many shops since this nonsense began. And a girl, I couldn't tell you if she was pretty or not because she was wearing a face covering. She came up to me and said, "Excuse me, sir, would you mind putting on a face covering?" And I said, "I'm exempt," which is one of my prepared lines. And she said, "Do you have the thing?" And she made this sign, "Do you have the thing?" I had no idea what the fuck she was miming. It's like a game of charades. Is it a book? Is it a movie? What is the thing? What is the thing of which she spoke? I said, "No, I don't have a thing, and I don't have to discuss my medical issues with you." "Well, I'm sorry, but if you don't have the thing, then I'll have to ask you to leave the shop, or you'll have to put on a face covering." And so I said, "How about this? Now I'm covering my face." "No," she said, without missing a beat, "that's not good enough. You'll have to actually put on a face covering." I said, "How about my beard? It's covering my face." Still, she was not amused. So the conversation went on. I said, "I'm allergic." And she said, "Well, if you don't have the thing, I'm afraid I'll have to ask you to leave the shop." And I said, "Well, go on then." And paused while the process of that conversation sank in on her, and she said, "Would you mind leaving the shop because you're not wearing a face covering?" Okay, so I left the shop, and I was slightly perplexed as to what the thing was that she was challenging me to produce because I'm exempt or allergic or just don't give a fuck, whatever. So I went home and Googled it, and I'd like to share with you now what the thing is. Are you ready? This is the thing. All right, here's the thing, right? This is a print your own exemption piece of paper from the government website. And we'll get into the medical benefits of exempting yourself with no medical examination or wearing or not wearing damp cloth over your face that traps viruses in a moment. Genuinely, people, this is how to avoid wearing a mask. You print this thing from the government website and show it to people in shops, and they won't hassle you to wear a mask. Now, I'm not a doctor, and neither is the website I went to. So how does this exempt anybody from wearing a mask? This is some kind of Kafkaesque absurdity of which I plan to extract as much humour from as possible. In fact, I'm going back to the shop on Monday with a piece of paper on which I wrote, "I'm exempt, but I don't have a printer," dangling on a piece of loose garden twine. And I'll tell the girl, "I've got my thing. I've got my thing." Let me see if I can This is what people who are wearing masks look like to me. So I'm not going to wear a mask, because if you're wearing a mask, when I see you, in my head, this is what I see. I should clarify, when I see somebody wearing those bits of cloth that are covering their faces, they're not masks. They don't protect you or anybody else from catching a virus of any kind whatsoever. In fact, if you're breathing out through a face covering, you're making it damp, and it's like flypaper for viruses. So if anybody is watching this for medical advice, my advice, medical and or political or cultural advice, my advice is don't be an asshole. Do not cover your face in damp cloth that traps viruses next to your airways. And if you are challenged by shopkeepers about your thing, then get out a pen and piece of paper and write on a bus ticket, because that's all it takes. I swear, that's all it takes to exempt you. I look forward to this kind of process of exemption moving on to, I don't know, drink driving or licenses to drive JCBs. I'm exempt. I wrote myself an exemption. Passports at international borders. I have a passport. I wrote it on my hand. Seriously though, what this is a precursor to, and I do mean seriously, because this is coming to your world real soon. What this is a precursor to is the government not passing a law about anything, but letting the private industry and private interests and the world of private business enforce diktat and policy on you, should you be ignorant or foolish enough to go along with it, on their behalf. And when this relates to the vaccine, which is coming soon, my government, the British government, have bought hundreds of millions of doses which aren't even finished yet. Wow! Does anybody want injected with something that hasn't been finished yet? That's been rushed through human testing? Maybe they tested it on snails or dogs or pangolins. I don't know. The European government has bought 400 million doses of as yet unfinished vaccine, which surely they plan to inject into their population. Now, the government's unlikely to pass a law saying, you must have the vaccination. But let's fast forward a few months, shall we? Let's get deep into the flu season and the second wave. Oh no, not a second wave. I haven't got my swimming trunks on. Let's get deep into the second wave, where the government says, we would like everybody to have the vaccine. It's not compulsory, but we really strongly recommend everybody have the vaccine. And then the following thing happens when you go to Starbucks or Walmart or the Subway, or I don't know what you have in America, KFC, McDonald's, Taco Bell. And you get to Taco Bell and there's a girl. You can't tell if she's good looking or not because she's got a face covering on. And she says, excuse me, do you have your vaccine certificate? Now, it's not compulsory for you to have the vaccine. And there's no law that says you have to have the vaccine. But suddenly, you're being challenged in an unregulated, multi-million person experiment into whether you're a fucking pussy, into whether you are a compliant roll over and tickle my belly. Get the vaccine? Why sure, where is it? Let me run there and inject you, let you inject me with it now. Or, if you're really rebellious, you'll visit a government website and print out your exemption form, without which they won't let you into Taco Bell. Private policing of non-enforceable government laws concerning medical treatment of you, coming to your reality real fucking soon, people. So watch out for that, and be prepared to scribble down your exemption on a bus ticket of your choice. Now, since we're talking about the coronavirus, I thought I might delve into the formula that we appear to be living under. Oh, it's so dangerous. SARS is so dangerous. For the good of everybody. It's for the good of us all. We're going to have to protect other people's lives by having our behaviour controlled. Well, how dangerous is it, really? Let's have a look, shall we, by comparing coronavirus to other deadly viruses. Here we go. The 12 deadliest viruses on Earth. Dum dum dum. Dum 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 dum. The 12 deadliest viruses on Earth. And most of them, apart from the SARS virus, have been around a long time. So it's surprising, isn't it, that we've waited this long to enforce a kind of draconian social etiquette on vast swathes of the world's population. The 12 deadliest viruses on Earth. Let's have a look at the top. Here we go. This is top of the pops, people. The Marburg virus. There it is. And that's an artist's impression of what it looks like. Looks like a sex toy with LED underlighting. You know, looks like a sort of see-through gel dildo, double dildo for anal vaginal penetration. From my point of view, not that I'm that familiar with such things, but, you can draw your own conclusions. Scientists identified the Marburg virus in 1967. The mortality rate in the first outbreak was 25%, but the mortality rate went up to 80%. It killed 80% of the infected in the 1998-2008 outbreak. Now, there's a deadly virus, really. Ebola. Another deadly virus. Let's just do the mortality rates. 50% and up to 71% if it's the Sudan strain of the Ebola virus that gets you. So if you can avoid the Sudan strain and just get the normal Ebola virus, you're only 50% likely to die. Toss a coin. Rabies, an old favourite. Oh man, I remember reading about rabies when I was young and thinking, wow, what a really cool disease. I couldn't understand how a disease could make things hydrophobic. How does having rabies make you afraid of water? Answers on a postcard, please. Actually, I'm genuinely interested. Why would having rabies make dogs afraid of water? I never understood that, but fascinating. Mortality rate of rabies. Wow. Without treatment, 100% possibility of death. Oh, hey, Steve Delarme, stupidity is the number one virus. I like your style, and it's true. Not only is stupidity got the highest mortality rate of anything on Earth, but it's also the most abundant substance in the universe. And next week, if I get the chance, I'll go through the 3 fundamental laws of stupidity, which a good friend of mine sent to me, and which are quite interesting, quite entertaining, and possibly quite funny. So, 100% chance of death without treatment. HIV, another deadly virus. HIV has killed 32 million people in the last 40 years. Man, that's quite a death toll, and significantly higher than the current coronavirus outbreak. Smallpox. Mortality rate, 1 in 3. So that's 33% mortality rate, although we claim to have eradicated smallpox, which is great, except we keep letting it escape from our laboratories. If you have a wee Google on that, smallpox has escaped from allegedly safe and secure bio-research facilities on at least 3 occasions. Once upon a time, some smallpox was found in a shoebox in New York. Again, that's the stupidity of humans. We really are that dumb. Hantavirus. 12% mortality rate. Meh. It's not up there, is it? I might be worried about it if I get it, but it wouldn't stop me going on holiday to the Congo. Influenza. Oh, a favourite and a regular in our societies all around the world. Mortality rates, not listing one, but, I think it's quite low these days. Dengue fever. Lower than 2.5%. Wow, 2.5% mortality rate. That's fuck all. Let's not get worked up about that. The rotavirus, if you can get treatment, won't kill you at all. So in the developing world, or the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth worlds, if you can't get medical treatment, you will die. But over here in the good old Western bubble of shopping till you drop, you'll be fine. Just a quick visit to the hospital and some rehydration. Now here we are, SARS. SARS-CoV. And if you can read that, do so for yourself. Obviously, we're quite familiar with the SARS epidemic that we're going through at the moment. Previously, there was one that killed 8,000 people over the course of... infected 8,000 people and killed 770 over the course of 2 years. Wow, they must have been practicing. There have been no new cases of SARS since the 2000s. SARS-CoV-2. All right. A mortality rate of about 2.3%, which means that if 100 people get it, 2.3 of them die. Let me know when I have to breed with my sister. That is to say that it's not very deadly. It's not very deadly. It's not as deadly as some other things we're already living with, and as a public health emergency, it's really not that significant next to the deaths from other things in the world. And I'd just like to touch on the Black Lives Matter movement here, because I know that in America there's still a lot of demonstrating going on about the Black Lives Matter movement and how Black lives matter so much, but only in America. All right? And I can prove that to you because diarrhea remains the leading cause of global mortality and morbidity. Black lives matter only if they're rich black lives. Now, I know there's relative poverty, and some of you black people in America can barely afford your holiday in Florida. Shame. Or your next Camaro. Whatever. But the people dying from diarrhea all over the world, in their millions every year, they're black. Almost exclusively. They're black, and their lives don't matter because they're poor black people. You see? Rich black lives matter. Let's all... Hey, does anybody else think the sight of fucking $1 million a week football players kneeling down for black lives in America makes them sick to the stomach? When millions of black babies are dying of diarrhea every year and you could save them for $1? Hey, cut them some of your paycheck, man. Get off your fucking knees. Send some of your paycheck to Africa, dude. Yeah, Black Lives Matter in America. The rest of the world, black lives don't matter at all. Not even a little bit. Not even $1. Yeah. And also, while we're on the subject of coronavirus, we've heard a lot of scientific opinion. There's a lot of scientific opinion. I met a marine biologist on the high street while I was busking the other day, and he told me, without blinking, that Jesus was coming back to save us all for our sins. And he's a scientist, but I wouldn't pay him for his opinion if I were you. No, when you pay a scientist for his opinion, or her opinion, they become something very special. They become an expert. See, that's what separates experts from your normal, everyday, Jesus saves you scientist. Anyone can be a scientist. I myself have a degree in science. You wouldn't let me produce a vaccine for your coronavirus, would you, and inject it into your arm all over the world? I hope you wouldn't, because I haven't got a clue about virology or molecular biology, and I certainly wouldn't like to be let loose in a laboratory where such things were made. And neither would I like any old scientist giving me their opinion just because they were paid to by my government. But that's what's happening. Scientists who get paid for their opinion, expert. Scientists who are not paid for their opinion, well, nobody's paying much attention to them, which is a shame, because science is not supposed to be an opinion. Science is a process where we discern the likely probability of something being a fact or the truth by a series of processes that make it more or less likely to be the truth or a fact, none of which I've seen being applied to the coronavirus. I'll give you an example. How long are we into it? 6 months? 7 months? Where's the scientific study about face coverings working? The wet rag across your face? Where's the science into that working or not working? Now, I did my fieldwork unit whilst doing my degree. If you want to create an experiment to test that, sounds like it would be quite easy. You get some people with a virus, or you get a dummy that just, sprays viral-like pathogens that you can trace, and then you experiment with different face coverings and see how far they get. You also put face coverings over inlets and suck air through them and see how much of your chosen marker or biological traceable element. None of that's been done. And yet here we are being coerced, challenged, forced, bullied into covering our faces. This is compliance training writ large. Face coverings do not offer you or anybody else any protection. If they did, Britain wouldn't have just gone through the worst flu season ever. That's right, the worst flu season ever. Even though we were locked down for 4 months, the flu still managed to infect all those people and kill them. So, about the dangers. It would appear that coronavirus isn't killing people fast enough. I mean, there is an opinion and a point of view that goes something like this. There are just too many people on Earth. And if coronavirus killed more of them, it would be better for us. While we figure out the food, air thing. But coronavirus just isn't killing that many people. And you can tell looking at these figures here. This is a world population. Okay, let's just have a look at the net population growth today. And the day isn't finished yet. Net population growth today, 212,000 just today. Well, the total coronavirus deaths, 500,000. I mean, potentially we're going to replace all of those people in 2 days. What's the biggie? Let me know when I have to breed with my sister. It's just not killing enough people. Yeah, 645,000 coronavirus deaths. So it'd take 3 days to replace all the people who died from coronavirus since it began. Although many of them will die from diarrhea while you're on one knee in the football stadium counting your dollars. Well, so, how's life on planet Earth for you? Shaping up to be a hell of a ride, isn't it? Because it would appear that there are many alleged problems that we all face and that we all have to be concerned about and that we all have to worry about and fret and anxiety our life away. And it occurred to me, what if we could be cleansed of our sins? Brothers and sisters, according to the marine biologist I met on the high street, we all need to be cleansed of our sins. And I wondered, in some sense, if the earth couldn't be cleansed in some fantastic way, some miraculous way. And so I imagined the following story.
Imagine if everything humans had ever made disappeared. Imagine you didn't have a home and there were no other buildings. Imagine no cities, no roads, no cars, Coke cans, mobile phones, televisions. No shops or offices, no clocks, no time, no factories, no work, no flying machines, no satellites. Everything we ever made all over the world just disappears while you're asleep. In the morning, humans wake up to a new dawn. Every man, woman and child, every living person on every continent wakes up naked on the grass. They have no clothes, no tools, no food. They are confused and bewildered. They remember all they ever knew, but looking round they see no trace of anything that existed before. All they have is memories. Instead of the world they had built, they find a pristine natural world brimming with life. Birds fill the skies, the rivers are jumping with fish, the forests and fields are full of game, animals of all kinds flock to watering holes, and fruit hangs from trees and bushes. No one's sure what's happened. Some say God made it happen because people didn't praise him hard enough. Some people believe it's a marvelous dream and begin singing and dancing. Some people believe it's a nightmare. They make spears and cry out, "This bit's still mine! Get off it!" But no one's listening. The night comes. Whatever has happened seems to be real, so people stop wondering and come together to light fires. They make drums and play pipes and dance and sing. Everyone needs each other, so some hunt, some farm, some build. And as time goes by, many begin to forget the past completely. But others do not. The godly mumbo-jumbo people, they miss being revered, and the rich, greedy, fascist people miss having power and money. They despise protecting you from harm and punishing criminals. Here is your God, to give your lives purpose and guide you to the kingdom of heaven upon your death. And here we are, authority, to kill you for lacking either one. Some people thought this was a very bad idea and didn't want God or a queen at all. Some people, however, were all for it. They feared nature and missed technology. Unable to agree, the people fought. They divided into those who liked the new and those who wanted to go back to the old. They killed each other, and they built better killing machines to kill each other better. They called themselves us and them. The rulers laughed and pressed on with their plan. When the wars were over, billions lay dead. Large parts of Earth were scorched and ruined. Humans had split themselves and the world into them and us. Borders sprang up. Police guarded the borders and kept us and them apart. The world was mapped out and divvied up between them and us to keep the peace. Within a short time, fascism, nationalism, industry, commerce, poverty, wealth, and power returned to people's lives. Work and shopping were made compulsory. Everyone was barcoded to keep track of who was us and who was them, and everyone spied on everyone to see who was who. Selfish lives of greed and materialism were encouraged. The trees were gone. The rivers, the singing, the dancing, all forgotten. Except in dreams. At night, as they slept, some people dreamed that one day all humans had made would be gone. However, there were some people who had barely noticed the wheel turning at all. These were the people who always wake up naked on the grass.
All right, let's skip the credits there. Couldn't help noticing somebody giving a shout out for abortion in the comments there. And people who are against abortion typically don't have the courage to actually hurt people themselves. That is to say that they want some proxy force to be used on their ideological behalf. It goes a bit like this. I don't like what these people are doing, but I myself would never actually put myself in their face and stop them. That would be wrong, wouldn't it? You going around, you personally forcing people to do what you want? What kind of a dick would you be? So much easier to elect a government that agrees with your bizarre notions of morality and have them do force to other people on your behalf, which is exactly the world we're living in, unless you missed that about the mask thing. It's not against the law to wear a mask, but people are forcing other people to wear them. So by proxy, these people have become proxy agents of the state. And I, for one, completely disagree with stopping anybody doing anything. I think you should all do exactly what you want all the time. I know I am. And if it turns out that what you want to do is hurt people and steal things and be a dick, then we'll all get to see who you are and we can stay away from you or fuck you up, whichever one is better for us. Now, the imaginary tale we've just watched is kind of a fairy story about how people who think there's something wrong with the way the world has gone, you know, industry was terrible and what a big mistake, if only we could go back. The fact is, we'll just reinvent that shit. We will. There's no putting that back in the bottle. The future has to be an evolution, not some retrograde step. We have to learn and get along with our knowledge, not try and forget it in some Orwellian sense. If we're going to be here for any longer at all, we surely have to get smarter, not dumber. But it would appear to me that that's unlikely to happen. So don't hold your breath waiting for that, because we are so dumb that at the moment, the plastic pollution, nobody's doing anything about that. The melting ice caps, nobody's doing anything about that. The Siberian heat wave, nobody's doing anything about that. And I'm a little bit disappointed that it's taking so long for the cataclysm, the catastrophe, the convergence of all the bad things that are happening on Earth. I'm a little bit disappointed. Coronavirus isn't killing that many people. It's not even like, I thought mad cow disease was going to be good. Foot and mouth disease, AIDS, but no, none of these things have lived up to my expectations. In fact, the end of the world is a little disappointing, which is kind of why I'm making this show, trying to sex the end of the world up a little, because the end of the world to me like fake virtue signaling and online consumerism instead of going to the shop. Not the end of the world at all. It's some kind of we decided we're just going to shop online and solar power our bizarre consumer cattle-like lives. And so check it out. Is anybody else disappointed with doom? You know, doom, the impending end of whatever this is. In various ways. Really, I'm disappointed. It's like the joke about cold fusion, the miracle-free energy science that's going to save us from ourselves. Yeah, cold fusion is 10 years away, and it always will be. Yeah, the end of the world, man, it's coming, and it always will be, yeah, because I keep hearing how the system is going down. I searched the entrails of Googleness for evidence that this is it. This is the end of the world, right now. This is what we've all been waiting for. Civilization is doomed. It's all over for him, and it'll never be the same. Yeah, civilization is dead. He fell out of a 3-story window, impaled on a pitchfork. He caught fire and exploded. We shot civilization in the head with a magnum at point-blank range. He's totally dead, dude. But then, like the psycho in Halloween, just over the shoulder of the girl you were about to shag in celebration, psycho civilization gets up and he skewers her with today's Wall Street Journal. Then civilization chases you through a deserted foundry, but you trip it up and it falls into a cauldron of environmental consequences and economic impossibilities. Sweating and wounded, you stare off into the distance. That's it, the end of the world. But behind you, civilization is climbing out of the fiery pit of doom. He's back. He nuclear powered his way out of climate change. Culled humanity for better population odds, and he's going shopping again. Damn! How can we ever kill this monster? Will somebody please end the fucking world? I want the end of the world. They've been promising me an end of the world since I was fucking born. I was barely 5 and the Russians were going to nuke us all into mutually assured destruction. When I was 10, the Ice Age was coming back to wipe us all out. By the time I'd grown up, mad cow disease, that was a good one. Overpopulation and AIDS, they were all going to kill us. Then the internet appeared. The internet, there were so many ends of the world on the internet, I couldn't keep up. There was Planet X, end of the world with colliding planet doom. There was alien brain eating at the end of the world with terraforming for the aliens doom. There was chemtrail, genocide, fluoride doom. There was Ebola, swine flu, Illuminati, end of the world doom. There was pole shift doom, economic crash doom, financial catastrophe doom, and global terrorism, end of the world as we know it, zombie apocalypse, flesh-eating asteroid impact, Jesus' second coming, rapture Armageddon doom. So much doom. But then the mists of time cleared and the end of the world resolved into a dew. Behold, we had Mayan calendar, end of the world doom. Anything could happen, from spiritual enlightenment, astral anus inversion, to transplanetary exodus, homecoming, ancient aliens, or us rapture. But once again, nothing fucking happened. Now though, I feel the tension building. Now it's time for new end of the world. Forget all the previous ends of the world. They were fake. Scams, just disinformation, man. Now we've got Ukraine nuclear escalation, Fukushima mutant radioactive climate chaos runaway greenhouse doom. Yes, it's back. It's fashionable again. It's new end of the world. It's coming soon. Well, not today, but ooh, real soon. Yeah, me, I like the look of nuclear Middle East escalating global conflagration doom. Not that I think that's likely to happen, I just think it should. Because the faster civilization goes away, the better it'll be for life on this planet. Honestly, if you genuinely care for all life on this planet, push the fucking button. Nuke somebody now. What the fuck? We had a good run. Hey, the electric guitar's cool. Yeah, let's finish the great big garbage party with a great big bang. I don't want to go out with a whimper. Let the end of the world be magnificent. Big, huge, massive, and most of all, let it be now. All right, so, disappointed with the end of the world? I know I am. It was going to be great, but instead it's like slowly being boiled alive like a frog. Sure, things are getting worse, relatively speaking, but I'd like to draw your attention to the cost of donuts, because I like donuts, and you can buy a lot of donuts for £1. And so, in my economy, where the cost of donuts is important, and their availability is also an important indices of my life. I am living in hog heaven. I am in the lap of donut luxury. 10 donuts, jam-filled, I kid you not. 10 jam-filled donuts for £2. That's 20 pence a donut. I'm surprised I'm not fantastically obese, such as the quality and quantity of donuts that I could buy with just £1. And so, surely, we're not doing enough things wrong. And surely, claims to the effect that we must, as I pointed out from Worldometers, that we need to save more lives are bullshit. We don't need to save lives. We need to get rid of more fucking people before the population explosion makes my donuts go up in price. because I can assure you these people who are arriving, they're going to like donuts as well. And then where will I be? The more people who arrive, the more the cost of donuts go up, the more busking I'll have to do to buy my donuts. Help me out, people, please. And speaking of all things commercial, at this time I should like to say a few words of a commercial nature about helping me out. If you like the show, you'd like to buy me a beer, a coffee, or some crack, or to help with my drug habit, whatever that drug habit is, then please consider subscribing on Patreon, firing me some super chat. I've got a PayPal email. You could just give me some money. But also, I think much more interestingly, you could buy some of my art. And this week, I am offering for sale a rather attractive, if I say so myself, and innovative piece of metal nude sculpture. This is a 10 by 8 plasma cut steel plate. This piece of art will last several lifetimes, if not eons, will surely outlive you, me, and our neoliberal Western democracy, possibly by many, many years. Starting at $19.99 with delivery anywhere in the world from £30, I extol the virtues of this nude to you, and I think there's a great deal of heritage in the form of the nude in art, which I am, I hope, just playing my small part in. So, if you'd like to buy my art, go to eBay. The link is in the show's details. If you'd like to subscribe to Patreon, I am FKN Newz with a Z. And if you'd like to just send me some money via PayPal, hit me up in a message. I'll give you my email. And you could also join the astronomers. Now, I don't have an astronomer's image here. That's unfortunate. But regular viewers of the show will know that I've started a religion. And one of the reasons I've started a religion is because religious people suck. And there's very little you can do or say about all the sucky religious people in the world unless you are also in a religion. Because the world's major religions believe the most bizarre and absurd and patently dangerous shit. Ugly and dumb and dangerous stuff. And previously, one of you mentioned that stupidity was the #1 virus. I think almost all religious people are heavily infected with the stupidity virus. And in order to discuss their stupidity, it became apparent to me that I needed a religion because of the hate speech laws and this cancel culture that's going around. So, whereas the Christians and the Muslims and the Jews all believe that you're going to hell or you're going to some other horrible place, purgatory, or something like that, if you don't believe the right things. They believe you're evil if you don't believe the right things. They believe God hates you if you don't believe the right things. They believe potentially that they should get rid of you, either, by physical means or metaphorical means. All of these religions I have mentioned have these beliefs and treat unbelievers in their beliefs as second-class human beings, Untermensch, subhuman. And over the course of history, this belief has allowed them to kill non-believers, kill them, rape them, burn them, and take their stuff. And so, now that I've got a religion, the astronomers, theastronomers.org, if you'd like to join, you don't have to join up on the website. You can just declare yourself to be not stupid, and you're an astronomer. You can declare yourself to be on the eternal road of infinite study, and you're an astronomer. You can declare that you think the laws of physics are quite close enough to describing reality, and will be maintained by people coming up with new ideas to make them more accurate as we go along. And then you're an astronomer. And because I'm an astronomer, and that's my religion, I can say, without being held to any account with hate speech laws or other nefarious mechanisms that these morons have dreamt up, I can say, with a hand on my heart, that my religion says that all the Muslims and Christians and Jews are evil, retarded morons, and we need to get rid of these fuckers. Man, they are a dumb, nasty, evil virus on this planet, and me and my alien friends, we're going to get rid of them all. And if you'd like to join me, just declare yourself to be an astronomer. And you can avail yourself of the right to call them evil, retarded moron fucks too. And together, we will wipe this planet clean from these evil, retarded moron fucks. And then everyone will be an astronomer and things will be pretty cool. We can go back to playing the guitar, taking drugs, and not being sinners. And just about the Jews, a lot of stuff's happened about Jews in this week. The Labour Party lost a case in Britain about whistleblowers and anti-Semitism, and a rapper in Britain has been dropped by his management for saying anti-Semitic things on Twitter. And so I thought I would just give a shout out to all the Jewish people and point out to you, if you are Jewish or if you know any Jewish people, you should tell them that God doesn't like Jews. He really doesn't. I know the Jews think that they're God's chosen people, but in fact, God doesn't like Jews. If he did like Jews, he surely wouldn't have had so many of them killed and persecuted for all of those years, would he? If God liked the Jews, surely he would have given them a better homeland than Israel, which is about to become an uninhabitable, parched desert. And it amuses me, and I derive a great deal of pleasure from the idea that Jews think Israel is their homeland, because they won't be able to change their mind when it's 50 plus degrees C and there's no water. And they're all there going, is this, God gave us this? He couldn't have given us somewhere where there's grass? No. God said you could have Israel. You're fucking welcome to it. Far from being against you having Israel as a homeland, I urge you to settle down there and prepare yourself for being real fucking thirsty. And wait for the astronomers of the world to come for you, as we surely will, and convert you all from being evil, retarded moron fucks to smart, nice people who don't think that God likes them, when plainly he doesn't. And if God was all that the Jewish and Muslim and Christian people say, I'd like to give you a quote from somebody much smarter and funnier than me. Is God willing to prevent evil but not able? Then he is omnipotent. Is he able but not willing? Oh, then he is not omnipotent. I'll go over that again. If God is willing to prevent evil but not able, he is surely not omnipotent. Is he able to prevent evil but not willing? In which case, he's a malevolent fucker. If he is both able and willing to prevent evil, then where does all the evil come from, if God's on the case? If God is neither able nor willing, then he's not really God, is he? And it doesn't appear that God is able or willing to prevent anything bad happening to the Jews. Therefore, he doesn't like them. I mean, I'm not being unfair. I'm just logically pointing out the fallacy of your worship of your God, who plainly doesn't give a fuck about you. And anyway, since all religion is evil, whatever it is that you think you are doing, it's dumb. I digress. In other news, the US and the UK have accused Russia of testing weapon-like projectiles in space that could be used to target satellites in orbit. The US State Department described the recent use of what could appear to be actual in-orbit anti-satellite weaponry as concerning. Yeah? Is it as concerning as this? Because this looks real fucking badass. I mean, I don't know what the Russians have got, but America's space plane looks pretty mean. Recently back from a 700-day mission in space. What do you think that was up to? Seeing the sights? You know, night out with the boys? I don't think so. Weapons in space are a de facto fact of life. America has had weapons in space for some time. I suspect the Russians and Chinese have had also. The fact that we're now just hearing about it means that probably they've had weapons in space for some time. So our stupidity has now left the planet. We're exporting stupidity. And the further we go from Earth, the further our stupidity will go. And stupidity will go on into the future. And I hear that Trump is perhaps not going to accept the result of the forthcoming election, and that he may squat in the Oval Office, denying that he's been unelected for some time, which would be great, wouldn't it? And the rest of the world will have to gang up on a kind of fascist America run by Trump and his junta to free the world from his influence. And depending on which side of the coin you are there, either the rest of the world are the bad guys in that scenario, or Trump is. Now, I'm not a cheerleader for Trump, but surely Trump is not in the club. Trump's not in the World Health Organization Treaty Club. Trump's not in the let's export all our jobs to China club. Trump's not in the club, whatever the club is. And that's plain to see from all of the anti-Trump media around the world, and the selective coverage of the things that Trump says. Now, I really am not a fan of Trump, but of all the world leaders, there's only one who said it's Chinese flu. There's only one who said it escaped from Wuhan's laboratory. There's only one who is saying, why are we spending so much money on arms? Why is American military power being used all around the world to protect other countries? He's the only one. And that's interesting, isn't it? Not because it makes him good, but because it makes all the others bad. So if he doesn't leave the White House, it'll be interesting to see who the competition is, who's lining up against him, and what will be done to him to set us free from the tyranny of whatever. And on that happy note, I should like to leave you with a song. Thanks for tuning in to the end of the world. Be well, be free, be happy, and remember, the planet's fucked, it's your fault, and it's getting worse. Have a nice weekend. Can satellite cable you up? Some of us can get down and give it up all to set you free. We can satellite cable you up. Some of us can get down and give it up. We can talk a lot and get things done. We can line you up along the barrel of a gun. We can hover and fly by a wire. We can stop a river. We can start a fire. We can ponder as we're going along. We can split the atom. We can drop the bomb. Oh, to set you free. Oh, to set you free. We can medicate, communicate, fund it, finance it, and legislate, count down, enumerate. We can multiply, divide, and we can take away coal seam, laser beam, shop till you drop with a choice of flavored ice cream, napalm from a distance. We can send a cruise missile and wipe out the resistance. So, to set you free. Oh, to set you free. We can conjure up Demons fertilize an egg with a little frozen semen and cloning. We can travel to the stars and make a smaller stereo and faster cars and defoliating. Regurgitate, open up your brain, get a surgeon into operating MPEG and CD-ROM. We can change you genetically and make you strong. Oh, to set you free. Oh, to set you free. Thanks, good night. See you next week for another End of the World.